and one from my own service in the Vietnam era. My ties to the 442nd began a long time before I came to Seattle. I was a college student in Chicago in 1956, and I had a roommate. His name was David Sakura, or we called him Saki. The name here in Seattle is pronounced Sakura. And his family were among those who were rounded up and taken to Minidoka. And I remember the day he told me that he was raised in a prison camp in the United States. I couldn't believe it. I was raised in Chicago, knew nothing about anything that went on here in the West Coast. And David then told me the story. In fact, he told me later, I see him frequently since then. He told me that he never told anybody else at the college except me, his roommate, because he was ashamed of having been raised in a prison camp. He said the day came when the order came that these men would have the opportunity to stand up and serve their country. His father, his grandfather, had come to Seattle and had been a businessman here and was one of the founders of the Japanese Baptist Church. And he had 4 sons. And all his sons wanted to volunteer. There were many people in the camps at that time who said, "What are you doing? You're sending all your sons to serve this country for what has gone on?" And his mother said, or his grandmother said, "They must go." And the father said, "We're Americans. We serve our country." Those 4 boys went and served, and I've met their sons that are living today all over this country, serving as physicians and bankers and all sorts of things. The contribution of the Sakura family was embedded in me at a very early age. Now, 127,000 people went through that. And I think that it takes an awful good imagination to imagine what it would be like as an American to be, when you thought you were an American, be ripped out of the society and put in a concentration camp. They were there and they did it willingly. They went willingly. Now, in 2000, it was my honor to name, or to be the sponsor of the bill that named the courthouse here in the city for William Nakamura. He was an 18-year-old kid going to Garfield High School, got rounded up, stood among these men and volunteered, and his story of winning the Medal of Honor is really extraordinary, because he was never, the family was never told about it. Never was told about it until President Clinton reviewed the records in 1996, and these medals were found. Now, these men were among, as you heard from General Corelli, the most decorated unit that the United States Army has ever seen. They were sent into the toughest fighting situations. They never got an easy assignment. Every single one, the battles he describes, if you go back and look at military history, you realize they were sent into the very toughest, and they came out of it as heroes. The real thing that we honor today is not so much their military heroism, but their spiritual heroism. Their dedication to the ideals of this country. They are a message to all the country of what we should have as dedication to our country. That we serve her and we give willingly to preserve her. Some say that men die twice. Once when they die, but they die a second time when we stop telling stories about them. These men's stories will never end being told because of what they did for our country. Thank you all very much.